Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of our Kentum playthrough. We're now at episode 22, and I know I had said today was going to be our last episode. However, a series of events occurred in which that is no longer going to be the case. In fact, we might go to 24 or 25 episodes depending on how large the world is, because as you'll see today, we unlocked something that allows us to traverse or phase shift through the world, and that drastically opened up some of the areas that are available to us. But today's episode is focused on gathering the ingredients for cognitive fluid type D. Last episode, you remember I said, oh hey, I wonder where I get this DURANIUM. Well, I figured it out. There's some spiky balls that hang from the ceiling. You gotta grab those spiky balls, they don't hurt you, and then chuck them at the floor. And that breaks open the spiky ball, and it allows you to grab the seed inside. So you can see here me struggling to figure out what the heck to do. When in doubt, run into it, I guess. Use the hook shot. And that'll help you get the ball rolling. Just grab it, chuck it on the floor. That's really what you gotta do. And you can see me struggle there a little bit on the screen. So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving break. I unfortunately couldn't record an episode because I came back home really late on Sunday. And that caused me to not be able to record on that day because I hadn't had enough stuff prepared. And then Monday was a day of dealing with a barrage of emails. And I couldn't get to recording much of the gameplay, and so I said, okay, well, I'll just delay it, and I'm going to release it today. As soon as I'm done recording the voice, I'll go ahead and put it live on YouTube so you guys can, if you've been waiting on this episode, then you won't have to wait any longer, and tomorrow I'll try to get my butt rolling on episode 23. So DURANIUM seeds, you need 6 of them. DURANIUM fruits, you need 6 of them to make 1 DURANIUM seed. And I strongly suggest that is the first thing you do. I didn't do that, and it caused a little bit of a delay in my progress. You do need the next level of farming to do that, because you need the biogen farm plot in order to farm those seeds. The areas you see on your screen now, these is where the blood crystals are. I personally think it's easiest to get to these particular areas because there's no enemies here. So I can just go in, collect all my blood crystals and get out in the same way. But you'll see a little bit later we unlock another fast travel point. And that might change my mind a little bit, but to be honest, I still think this area is the easiest. These enemies don't attack you unless you walk back into them. So it makes it really easy to just come here, grab your farm, and then leave again. So yeah, that's going to give us the next level, which is energy. And that does produce all the different cores. But it only produces one type of core the first time you unlock it, the DURANIUM core. And then you have to unlock the rest of the tree to unlock the rest of the cores. I'm not going to waste much time in showing you areas we've already seen before. I'm just going to skip those. What I am going to show you is scanning this giant spider is actually super important how I did it. So the giant spiders do a lot of damage. So one of the things I noticed is that they can't travel vertically, right? They can go horizontal, but if I lead them to an area where there's a drop, I can just sit there and I can scan them. It's not a problem. And the reason you need this particular guy is it unlocks red infusion, which is a necessary part in some parts of the tree. I just wanted to show you that. So here we're going to, this is what I use these little spiky balls for, the fruits, right? They're a good source of damage, funnily enough. They do a bunch of damage to the spiders, like really good damage. And so just keep that in mind. Don't suction them, because if you suction them, you're gonna get walloped, like really walloped if you suction them. They get momentum and they don't stop until they hit a wall. And I had that happen to me a couple of times where I thought I had broken the fruit. I did my vacuum to collect what I thought I had, and I just died because the plant's just too strong. So I'll keep that in mind. This is a brand new area that we haven't visited before. But you can see immediately I went to the brand new area, got whomped by the spider a couple of times, and I just went back home. So we'll go back to that area a little bit later. But here I unlocked energy. Of course I did a little splicing there while my cognitive fluid type D cooked, but we got energy down and that allows me to build the core maker. However, core maker requires the motherboard. And the motherboard, you need 2 trash ingots and 2 silicone ingots in order to craft 1 chip. You need 2 chips plus plastic sheets plus, I forgot the other thing, in order to be able to craft a motherboard. So yeah, you guys got it. You know, it's gonna be another long it's a long time collecting materials and getting them going again. And so the next step I wanted to unlock was phase dashing. And there's a big reason for that. But before that, there's a motherboard requirements. And like I said, you need 4 chips for 2 motherboards. And a whole bunch of plastic sheets and all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. It's another one of your, gates that you're going to have. Your nether funnels, whatever you want to call them. Here, I just dropped all my cherries because they were in the way. This is a new area. You guys haven't seen this part. It's the top of the new area I had been. I wanted to show it to you just because I've been showing you stuff that's new in the game, and this is new for me and for you. I hadn't explored this area before. The light is kind of useless. That's why I'm traveling around with this with this particular. You can see how even if I have the light on, I'm only able to see a little bit in a radius, and there is an option to make the light brighter, but I am going to go ahead and say it. If I am of the opinion that if you're good enough to walk around with this on, the scan on, then you don't need the light at all. You don't need the light at all. You can always just turn it on when you're gonna take off the scan in order to fight something. But yeah, just so you guys know, I'm going left all the way from when we started going down, going left, and there is something to unlock there. And it took me a couple of tries to get up there, but I do get up there eventually. So I'm going all the way left. The cool thing about going all the way left is that you are really finding a lot of platinum nodes, and you need which make you the platinum thread, which I unlock. The platinum thread is necessary for the next step of the crafting tree, so if you're here, you might as well collect as much platinum as possible if you have the room for it. Alright? And you unlock the Space Explorer lens. So this, I'm pretty sure those are all just cosmetic. They don't give you extra defense, they don't give you any extra powers, as far as I can tell. Maybe that's not the case, but honestly, I'm not sure. One tip about those little spider creatures, there's actually an albino version of them, which was interesting. I ran into it while I was exploring the caves, these underground caves, or what are they called, nests. And I scanned it, and it gave me another, I guess it's similar to those winter rats or whatever the heck you call them. But there they are. There it is. See, it runs away from you. That's one of the creatures you need to scan, but they run away from you so fast that it's hard to scan them. Especially the spiders are on your way trying to kill you. Yeah, but all this area is new. You can see I'm going on to the left. This area actually stops at a vein, which is great. You can go ahead and farm that if you'd like. However, the entrance is not. There's something to unlock here cosmetically. And if you keep going to the left, there is another one of those phase shifts that you need to activate. And we don't have that yet. So I was really pushing myself to unlock phase dashing because there was a lot of areas that I feel that require phase dashing in order to move forward, and I was right. But before that, Teleportation, I unlocked it and it was important. So this one allows you to place down a teleporter that takes you back home. Super, super helpful. Probably should have unlocked that earlier. Get into a pinch, go into an area, teleport home, one-time use only. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. I would suggest that if you're a player that likes to, go explore, you always want to carry one of those with you. Wherever you go, if you're not going to be doing just a quick trip to the... There it is, Gen 1 computer chip. You saw that, right? Gen 1 computer chip requires 2 and 2, but then you require 2 of those for the motherboard. So it's a bit of a... I think at this point, I'm going to feel comfortable suggesting that you build 2 foundries. One, you're going to need them. 2 foundries for making the ingots, making the sheets, everything else you're going to require to keep moving forward. I haven't made any phase traps, but it seems like I'm going to need them because I'm going to require a lot of a certain type of material to keep moving up in the tree, so I'm going to have to figure that out as well. Certain creatures give you a lot of materials that you need. So there's your recipes, and motherboard is necessary to build DURANIUM. So it is what it is. Here, however, I had enough to unlock platinum threading. Funnily enough, I haven't been able to unlock the other one, but I unlocked platinum threading. And I said, you know what? I still haven't figured out how to get silk fiber. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to get platinum threading now. I know I'm going to need it. And I might as well just grab it because I have the cognitive fluid, enough of it. And the next stuff that I have needs 10, but I have 18, so I'll make it up enough. And I have a nice little farm going now where I'm able to constantly generate resources without me having to go and pick them. I just have to remember to water them. Again, another thing I'm going to strongly suggest you guys do is just set up your farm. Just set up your farm, set up the automation correctly, and I'm going to show you what mine looks like in a little bit. But we are getting closer to... There is one more boss I have to beat, and that's why when I started exploring this area, I said, wait a minute. Am I done? I was like, nope, not done. I need to beat the next boss. And that's... I don't know where they are. I think they're going to be in an area that you have to access using the phase dash. So in this episode, we're not going to go to that area. But I wanted to show you here. I had left because of my health, but I wanted to show you where this area went. If you go around, you're able to traverse upwards. And you're able to reach, again, the phase dash, which I don't have. You're able to go upwards, and you reach an area that we've actually visited before. It was in the hive, or you passed through an area of the hive, right? So we've been here before. Remember we went down and we unlocked that whole phase dashing thing? And I was like, what the heck is this? So we unlocked all of this already, but we hadn't been down there. So here's where you end up. And if you go to the right, you end up back into these electrical caves. So yeah, you did a little loop. Just wanted to show you where it went. So now I have my DURANIUM ingot. I'm ready to go. I'm going to be able to craft the next part of my tree. But here's a nice little setup you can see there. That's how my setup is. Everything, conveyor belts to the left, getting picked up by a claw at the end, except the DURANIUM flutes, which are being dropped into the ground and are being placed into the machine for cognitive fluid. Type D. I have a grinder there for the blood crystals being placed into the machine, yeast being placed into the storage. So that's my setup to create a lot of there we go, DURANIUM core. I was so excited. So we unlocked phase dashing now. Took a while because of the whole motherboard chip thing. But this next you can see, look, I zip around. So this does 2 things. It allows me to use the phase dashing nodes, which you'll see in a little bit, but it also gives you iframes. So every time you dash, you actually become untargetable and unhittable. So you're able to dash through attacks, which actually makes it really fun, but just be careful you're not constantly dashing everywhere, because I was doing that. Between dashes, you are vulnerable, so you can always run into something, and especially down in the nest, in the depths, there are a lot of things that do a lot of damage to you. So yeah, I think unless you're a god at platforming, which you could be, I'm not. I'm glad I have all that health. I'm glad I have, you know, food that gives you shields, because it gives you 20 extra shields, so you're basically at 100 health. Yeah. So the next, I was kind of just checking to see what I could do next, and I didn't feel anything was extremely important except clone health. I think clone health is important. Everything else I'm kind of already done. I already do the strongest attack. I have a fast wind up. You know, that gets me set up for the next part of the game. So here, I'm just going back to this area. If you're looking at it on your screen, you know that this is an area where we went to when we first explored here. Where's where I got the phase dashing. But here's what it looks like when you have phase dash unlocked. Isn't that cool? And here's where there's two nodes there that you can access. So keep that in mind as well if you need to be grabbing more. Well, this is excellent. And there's a little zip line over here that you can get to really easily. So just keep that in mind. But if you go to the right here at the very top, and you keep going to the right instead of to the left like I did, you access a new area. The east side of the depths is accessed here, and I'm going to show you a little bit of it today. Okay? We're going to explore it a little bit, and on the next episode we'll explore it more fully, and I'll tell you what I find, because the place is dangerous. I'm just going to go ahead and say it like that. It's dangerous. You have tendril roots here. You have these little... You've seen those before. Those are little things that come from the bone thing that's on the floor. But that's not what makes this place dangerous. There are spitters that are on the roof that shoot more globs of poison at you right there. The problem is you can't hit them. You need to grab fruit and you need to chuck it at them. The problem is that the fruit doesn't do enough damage sometimes, and you're left with like, well, what do I do now? I guess I have to grab another fruit. But then you're being attacked by spiders, big ones too. It's just a lot. There's a lot to take in. It's also the first time I've been here, so a lot to take in, a lot to try to figure out in terms of like, how do I kill these things? I tried scanning them. I don't think I was successful because I can't get close to them. I think I'm going to have to unlock the next step of scanning, which gives you the quick scan or something like that. That's probably what's going to be necessary. Those things, yeah, they explode. Yep, they explode. They're released by this gel creature that's in the air floating. It's like a hive, I think. Yeah. They just come at you and explode and do exploding damage. You can block it and you can dodge it, but wow, I was having a really tough time with that. I blocked it, see? So when you do parry it, you know, it's good, but it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. I was having a really rough time. I couldn't scan that thing. I couldn't kill that thing. I couldn't pull that thing. And then I got whacked by two of them. I don't know how I didn't take damage there. These little phase shift things allow you to moment of invulnerability. I don't know why I thought they did damage to the creatures if I smashed into them, but they allow you to a brief moment of respite if you're being attacked by all angles, especially by those explodey things. They allow you to do that. However, I was low on health, and again, this is a new area. I hadn't really explored before, and I don't know what the heck hit me there. I think it was one of those poison things from the ground or something. So that's going to do it for today. Look out for the next couple of episodes to catch you on the next one.